Last game, have you seen the wave? Man of God was praying with the eyes awake. So Pastor, I'm thinking this year I should sign up for comedy because ever since I came here, I've just been making people laugh. So I have 3 songs, first of all. I have more than that. Serve God. Yes. If you ever get an opportunity to open your mouth and say what you call, yes. Do this not because things are fine. Do this because when you proclaim you receive. Yes. Do this because you own it before you say it. Yes. So when we are standing before God today, on a day like this, Father God in heaven, you are faithful to carry us through 2019. You are faithful to see us through everything we have. You are faithful to see how much we desire you. And may it be unto us as you've spoken unto us. Can I teach you a new song? Yes. This one is for big dons. Thank you. Did I tell you I'm a teacher? I have Kajanja. I'm professional and my friends. My career university. Hallelujah. So when I'm dancing, remind I've also danced at the school. Don't break. Hallelujah. This one is for big dons. How many believe 2019 you're going to count some dollars? Okay, those are many. How many believe in 2019 you're going to stay pure? Those are few. Did you see that? I'm going to say that again. Not many. How many believe 2019 you are going to stay pure for the sake of Jesus? How many say, whatever storm the devil shall bring, I am going to fight like the man born himself until I see that. So now you're going to, I'm teaching you something. This song is not out, but because I'm a leader, we are going to enjoy it. Oh, yeah. By thunder, by fire. Yeah. By what? Fire. You put attitude by thunder, by fire. Now you're talking. Yeah. So I heard you know some Luganda. Yeah. Can we go ahead? I'm going to give you one. When they said Sakala Kumanya, you say, I don't want to know. Somebody said Sakala Kumanya. Whatever 2018 wrote and I didn't achieve, whatever friends bring booze at home, whatever sagala kumanya boss. Sagala kumanya with the machines up to Kampala. Sagala kumanya bilala. Sagala kumanya byansi. One more time. Sagala kumanya bilala. Sagala kumanya byansi. So now, prepare to grab. Are you ready? I want you to feel that. Remind the devil that you made. Come on. Are you ready? Are we ready? The Bible says the harvest is much, but the workers are few. Try your level best to be among the workers, because if the harvest reaches that time and it has not seen Jesus, it is going to stay here, but the workers will go because they've been working for the master. So this one goes, we're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. Sing with me. It's okay, I'll handle this one later. I'll teach you. We're taking over. A chosen generation taking over. Now it gets interesting, you say, so we're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. Now I'm teaching you how we dance to such a song, because now we are singing like warriors. You see, no victory comes when there is no noise, eh? Or if you get the victory, even if you were dying, you stand up and still scream. How many people love football? Have you seen people when they scream for those guys? We are going to scream times 7 of that for Jesus. So hold your hand up if you believe we are taking over. So when I said 1, 2, we are going to sing together, right? 1, 2, 3, we go. We're taking over. A Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. A chosen generation taking over. Then it gets interesting. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Our chosen generation taking over. Are we ready to dance? Let's put the truck in. We are going to celebrate the goodness of God. Now do that. What? Are we ready to take over? We go. Jesus generation. I don't hear you. We're taking over. Our chosen generation taking over. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. Doesn't matter, you don't know me. You resemble a man, he knows me. I made it say no matter story, cause you knew me before. Are you ready? Yeah. Jesus generation, we are not here. To stand on no matter season, yeah. Bow to no one except Jesus, Lord. For life bring it on, cause we need to slay. Daddy, ring about to Soleya. We just a ring about to Soleya. When was the time when I'm ready to sing? 1, 2, we go and get me up. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. Lord have mercy, yeah. This generation needs your grace. Oh yeah, everything seems so fake. No matter what them do everywhere they. Nani arulinga watu solea. Tumoja santa arulinga watu sulia. Ayangwela santa remana tuulira. Jesus Christ, my atukamira. Oh yeah, you're the time. Now better press up yourself. Jesus generation looking over with no shame. Are we ready? We don't be over. We're looking over. Jesus generation looking over. We're looking over. Chosen generation looking over. Oh yeah. We're looking over. Jesus generation looking over. Chosen generation looking over. We're looking over. Jesus generation. We're looking over. We're looking over. Chosen generation looking over. We're looking over. Jesus generation looking over. We're looking over. Chosen generation looking over. Doesn't matter, you don't know me. Who is that what I'm in? He knows me. I mean, it's no matter story, cause you knew me before you knew me. Yeah. And Jesus generation we don't stand. To stand to no matter season, yeah. Bow to no one except Jesus, Lord. So life bring it on, cause we need to slay. Daddy, ring out to Soleya. We just a ring out to. Are you ready? We are working out of it. We're taking over. Where ya? We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. One more time. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. We're taking over. Jesus generation taking over. Yeah. We're taking over. Chosen generation taking over. Now you're gonna swap. Come on, enjoy it, enjoy it. So can I talk to you now? Am I gonna talk when you see? A minute just to calm down, eh? It was a great fun, right? Oluzungu lwako ebasigadde kalumada. It's okay, right? Jangu nga bwokola ki? N'oluzungu lwange olw'ebitulu Mukama gy'ayagala. Oh, sekera mwana wa mama. Oyo omwana abantidda. Si wa muno. That is perfect English from Tinder. Ooh la la. I gotta talk to you first. We're gonna do that. Razor. What? Razor. Don't go to school and speak these things and you get an F9. I'm not the one in trouble. You are. I have my degree at home. Hallelujah. I see people had fun. Father, may you shower us with a blessing the way we love you. May this go with the blessing of we're taking in fresh air because we are crossing over. We are crossing over. We are what? We are what? Hallelujah. So like I said, my name is Zabuli. You have a neighbor talking, they can have the microphone. Thank you. So the fun is done. Now we are going to tamper with the things that we don't like to hear. The things that make us feel like church is no longer fun because they are true and so painful. The things that make pastor look like the demon tormenting you because he says you should love God. I was seated here and I was asking God, because these people in Lira were really expectant. I didn't actually know my music can be fun far away from Kampala. Thank you for loving me. Thank you so much. My father died early. He should have seen what God has done in Zabuli's life in this nation. Because he stood and said, if I ever become anything, he will kill himself. And guess what? The day he died is the day I started singing. So maybe I became something that day and he actually prophesied and it came to pass. I'm just saying, maybe. But I loved my father. He was my best friend. Unfortunately, he has not lived enough to see what the beauty of the love of Jesus can do to a nobody, a disgusting, what other words can I use? Useless, wrecked, damaged person. So I cannot entertain you if I'm not going to leave you with a life-changing thing. I'm not that person. I don't want to make fun if there is no restoration and transformation. Hallelujah. How many would love in this lifetime to dine with the King? You would love to dine with the King at some point in life. Okay? When you drink booze every day, you become someone who wakes up every day thinking of what I did and drinking it, you become when you're somebody who kills people, you become a murderer or a killer. When you're a man who enjoys having sex with young kids, you are called because you do it repetitively, right? So, I have a problem with this corner. I love you, but don't distract people. This might be something that changes your neighbor's life. Don't be the reason why they stay behind. Because in the face of God, it's on you. Okay? Most of us are called children of God, but because of the word we say, and because they see us in church, they call us children of God, but we are not children of God because we don't do everything He requires us to do on a daily. You only show up as a Sunday church goer because the rats hide where there is no light, because they are busy destroying something. When I was 13, I started messing around. It was fun to be a tomboy. I had a gang of 7 guys who I was leading to steal everything in town. 13. And my mother did not know. But she graduated from being a thief, a petty thief. I went to school, I started selling drugs. She did not because she didn't want to, but because people are good at hiding mistakes. But then when the results come back, they can never defend them. By the time I was in senior 4, I had been expelled out of school because I punched my matron's teeth out. But it started as something small, stealing, and it was fun. It started growing. You hear me? So when I was in senior 4, they called my mother. They tell her, take your daughter home. The thing was, they could not expel me when I had been registered by your name. It's against the law, unless you were a threat to life. Which I was, yes, but on a small scale. I'm not saying it was alright. Okay? And whatever I'm speaking is not because I'm proud of what I did. No, I'm proud that when I accepted God, He turned it around. You might never reach that point to do that, if you choose right. When my mother came, she could not believe I'm the child she gave birth to. because I had a record for 4 years she had never heard about. And she could not stop crying because guess what? When she brought me to senior one, she carried a case on her head because she could not afford a boda and it was very far. A mental case and a mattress for me to be in school. The mother I'm talking about, somebody get these kids and they sit down. Thank you. The mother I'm talking about came to visit me one day and the sole of the shoe fell off because she had brought me new shoes and she could not buy herself a pair. The mother I'm talking about, who is coming in the office right now, is a woman who could not eat until we had something, even if it meant just 5,000 for a whole term. She sacrificed buying herself a bra for me to be in school, and here I was, because it was fun in a group doing these things. But when my mother came, she was the only person there. Hallelujah. She broke down and cried, not because I had messed up, but she saw how much she had sacrificed, and she could not believe I could not see it. Then I was 16. I didn't actually care, that's the truth. Then, when Bible school did my O-level, the one thing that she never stopped doing was praying. At some point I thought it was stupid. And you pray for somebody who doesn't care. And she kept crying. If you gave me that child, you have a better plan. I am not accepting what I see. I'm going to believe what you gave me in my heart when she came out of me. That she's going to be a world changer. And you see something, you don't even have any idea it's going to happen. I went to senior 5. Don't joke with a woman who prays honestly before God. I started changing without any canes. I even started feeling weird, like how can I be this person? I am the person I resented most years ago. My mother never stopped praying. I entered senior 6. It became worse, like I became too good that if you said she talked in class they would slap you because nobody had me talk. But my father had not noticed this, because in my senior 5, what I didn't tell you is my father was a Muslim, my mother was a Christian. Little did I know that the fact that she was a Christian, she's the one who kept us going. Her prayers were the fuel to our lives, that even when we messed up, somehow we came back home. My father said, if my daughter ever becomes something, because police was tired of coming home to report what I did, they had started saying, when she comes, talk to her. The clan sat my parents down and they said, we are okay if you want the girl to go out of this house. My father said, if she ever becomes anything, I will kill myself to my face. My mother said, you want my daughter gone? I'll pack and go with her. How stupid can somebody be for the sake of faith? I stayed home because my father could not let my mother go with my 4 other siblings because of me. I finished senior 5, senior 6. I went to campus. My mother, on top of what I was putting her through, my father had made her a punching bag. I have a bigger sister who is now in the military who had made her ashamed because she gave birth and ran away. The baby died. She comes back, gives birth with another dude, she runs away. So basically my mother's shame was endless. And she still had faith that God can do something in the life of a child. Meanwhile, with all this going on, I loved my father, that we were the best friends even if we didn't understand each other all the time. My father was tough, that when he would honk and he's back home, you prayed that he doesn't call your name. We were friends with my father even if we didn't see eye to eye every day. He's the only person who actually understood me because he was messing around. So he understood what messing around meant. So he protected me from this heart of, if I don't help you, you're going to become me. But you see, his messing up was beating my mother and having sex out of marriage with different women. And he denied it. You see, some days what you're doing might not impact the people you're seeing directly, but in the long run, they copy into who you are. Because you become what you see. You become what you prophesy against yourself, rather unto yourself. I'm in first year, I finished. School fees is tight. You guys, I had never paid a term full. I had never in my life seen school fees come in time. The best thing I used to see was going to the office of a secretary or treasurer and begging, please, my mother is going to pay, please let us sit for exams. And she worked every minute of the day just to make that happen. Meanwhile, my father didn't leave enough at home. My mom had to step in. 5 children, with one messed up like me and an elder sister messed up. But every Sunday she woke up and went to church. They call me one day, I'm at campus, and they tell me, your father is sick. I'm like, I know, he has a cold, I've been seeing him sick. And he's the one talking, and I'm asking him what is going on, and he's like, I have HIV/AIDS. I lose my mind. I found myself in a hole in my hair called Mary Stewart. I'm like, it can't happen to people you love. No, it happens to other people. It actually is not real. When I heard my father was sick, earlier in my senior 5 I had joined church, but I didn't have a relationship with God. It was fun because I was the leader of the young team that was dancing in Miracle Center in Entebbe Sun Church, not Entebbe the main, but Katabi. But I didn't have a relationship with, I didn't even know there is a relationship with God. I just had, I want to be in church because it kind of helps me not roll with the wrong crowd. Yeah? So, they call me. My father said, if your mother ever became a reverend, I'll never step in church. Most of the canes my father gave my mom were because she was in church with us. Those are the biggest arguments that made domestic violence at home actually vivid. To the point that we saw blood with a pang of blood with a bottle. Religion. You understand? But when my mother and father met, they did not know at some point they were going to kill each other when we were here because of religion. Because they had been married for 22 years. They had lived together for all those years. So when I joined church, my father found a big problem. That's the biggest misunderstanding we ever had. He caned me from morning to the following morning and God stoned me because I'd started going to church. But he did not see it had stopped me from going with the wrong crowd. For him, he just didn't want Jesus anywhere next to his family. Somebody hold this kid. When I was sent home, because I ran away because of the fact that my father had punished me, and he said, go look for another father. My mother gave me transport to my sister's hostel around Entebbe, and then after 2 days, my father is like, bring my daughter home. I know she's messed up, but she's still my child. So I'm giving you a background of where church started for me. Yeah? Now, back to campus days when they tell me my father is positive. I had started actually wanting to have a relationship with God now. And then they tell me the person you call your best friend is sick. I resented God. I cursed God. I said every nasty thing you can say. And I started messing up because I thought he did not care. After all, he's now taking my father. Now in that messing up, I slept with any man who looked at me in any day, any time of the day. I never did any protected sex. Because it was revenge against God. And by 2012, July 27th, they called me and they told me my father had died. But remember, out of pain, I've done decisions. Right? And my life is on the line because I don't know whether I'm positive or negative. Now, my father dies. I come back with bitterness after his death. I hook up with another guy and I get pregnant. I was 19 years old. My mother is nursing a heart of a husband who just died, who didn't even care, who messed around with people and brought back the disease for her to look after him. And her daughter is pregnant at 19 in the same month. Do we have mothers in this room?
Oh, yes.
What would you feel if you ever knew that the children who have seen you struggle are betraying your trust? That instead of them helping you be better, mind you, my mother didn't have sisters. We were the sisters, we were the daughters, we were the friends. One is out of the picture because she's messed up. And then the second one has messed up. 19 years old, pregnant. I don't even know what they do when you're pregnant. But I was nursing a broken heart and a painful heart. Then it ended up into another mistake. I went and had an abortion. I am not proud of this. God knows I've repented, He has forgiven me. But I've never in my life wanted this to ever happen to anybody, because it's not a pretty situation. You do everything when nobody's watching. You act on your emotions to take away something, and you end up in much bigger trouble because you keep going to the wrong place for answers. I almost died in a labor ward at 19. My mother has sacrificed school fees for you. She has sacrificed good food for you. She has sacrificed any money that would have made her well for you. And you are doing things to your life because you can, because you're in pain, because you want revenge, because you can't actually do it and nobody sees you. Oh, because the guy you got pregnant for doesn't love you anymore and you can't keep it. But you see, it is your life. It is nobody else's. It is your. I did that abortion. Two things happened. First of all, I felt more emptier than I had ever felt in my whole entire life. I hated myself. I was disgusted by what I could do. I mean, how can a 19-year-old stand proud to take a life? How do you even start? That life would have been a potential me 10 years down the road. That life would have been the life-changing Don Moe. That life would have been a potential TD Jakes. But you have the power to do that because you can do it. It is not fair for people who are innocent to pay for your mistakes. It is not fair for your mother to keep crying because you can't fix your life. It is not fair for your pastor to keep fasting and you still don't care. It is not fair for the nation to have a broken generation when there is a Jesus who can heal. It is not fair to disrespect the temple of the Holy Spirit to that extent. It is not fair. And this is the worst part. Nobody plants tomatoes and rips mangoes. We are given birth to and we look like our parents, but when we die, we look like our decisions. I'm going to say that again. When you're a baby, you look like your mother or your father, but in your graveyard, you look like the decisions and the choices you made. Nobody will come and say, that girl died looking like the man. They will say, that guy died drinking like a brewery himself. The other thing that happened is I met a voice I'd never heard before. This voice told me these things: you have messed up and survived. You have chosen all the wrong paths and you're still standing. You have disappointed me time and again, but I still love you. The next opportunity you get might not be that longer. It might take your life. Because you keep poking the bear, it's gonna eat you. You keep listening to the devil, he's gonna devour you and destroy you. He only kills, destroys, and steals. He never gives life. He never. You see, there are things you do because you're in a group and it's whole. Instead of coming to church, you have another breakthrough. Honey, when anything happens, the people you're left home with no truth are the ones who are going to bury you. They are the ones the police is going to call. They are the ones who will take care of that kid because you have nothing. If you had something, you wouldn't be messing your life up like that. I told that voice under heavy medication, give me one chance. and teach me how to do it right this time. I don't know who you are, but if you're the person my mother told me about, because after some time I asked my mom, why did you always pray for me? And she's like, God told me to be the first example of true love before you meet him. When I left that room and I had said that to God, God listens, he hears. And then when he hears, he acts. Because most times he's just been waiting for you to say the word that I'm here. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, they broke you. Yes, they stole from you. Yes, life has been hard. Yes, you hate everything about it. It's not been fair. But baby, you're still standing. That should mean something. It should give you the courage to keep pushing. You see, it is okay for you to sleep around. But you see, that has a repercussion. The Bible says God created everything with a purpose, including sin. He created punishment. And when you come to God, it doesn't mean it's going to go away. It's hard work. Why? You have got to take in the transformation. It doesn't end at the fact that you said, yes, Lord. And the transformation happens every day. You wake up and you say, even today, use me, God. I don't like it, I don't feel it, but you're faithful to finish this. Have you ever been in a day where you're Christian and everything is wrong? You keep hearing and knowing there is a God, you even read about it, but nothing is making sense. I've gone through that. And this is what God told me. Zabuli, let it all happen in my presence. Don't leave my presence. Because when you leave it, then the devil is locating you. You are vulnerable then to the worst enemy of who God is. Nobody plants jackfruits and eats mangoes. Keep doing those decisions knowing you're going to feel proud of the fruit that comes out of it. Keep coming to the presence of God and playing about it, and you will reap what the wrath of God does. You see, when we hear about God, we hear about the Lamb, the loving God, the forgiving God. We don't hear about the Lion of Judah that roars. The Lion that punishes when you mess up and then corrects you with the pain you feel and then makes it a testimony. Have you ever imagined why you go through stuff and then at some point you're like, oh, I survived. God will just swoop you out, but he is a father. And fathers love, sometimes they punish. I am not threatening you, but hell is real. If there is a God who can see a person like me rugged and so ugly and so deformed and damaged and give me beautiful ashes, there is a devil who can devour when you keep giving him the option to. Yeah. God should not be an option for you. God should not be something you come to Sunday for. God should be the only person who knows every inch of you. Because when he knows every inch of you, nobody will stand and take credit for who you are. God should not be the last option when things are done. He should be the only option. Because then, rescue is assured. Why? You don't have an option and he knows it. You see, we've become church people who talk about God, but we don't live according to the ways of God. Why? Because nobody's watching. The truth will surface. And this is the thing. You have been faithful and it is not happening for you. The verse you're seated in this particular day is, you are the light of the world. You can never put a light under a bed and cover it and it still doesn't shine. So one day you're going to rise and it will be the perfect timing of God. I have realized that when we do things in our power, we are drained. By the time you achieve it, you can't even have it because you're too sick. But when it is God's way, even when you're not meant for it, people will talk about you in places you never started to be in. Let me tell you, when I was in Entebbe being the stupid girl every parent didn't want any kid to play with, God was seeing Lira. Amen. But you see, my father was seeing Entebbe. My mother was seeing a purpose. Maybe you don't have a mother who does that. Maybe you have the Holy Spirit. the one who vouches for you every day in the presence of God. Don't leave your servant. You said you will never leave them. Come through. Not everything is going to happen according to plan. But if you trust the master planner, everything is sorted. But don't never worry when you have God. Because you can't worry and worship. No, you can't lift your hands and complain. It's hard. But you can drag yourself with your face down and say, I can't do this, but I'm here. The generation we're in needs us to give our great-grandkids a chance to have God. And they can't have God if we are blocking Him from our lives. We are here not because we were saved for ourselves. We were saved such that somebody else gets the opportunity to meet Jesus through you. So if salvation is a problem for you, go love God for other people. Go love God for your great-grandkids, because generations to come are bad without God. Today a kid can post and they're naked and have likes and they feel good about themselves. It's so heartbreaking. 10 years down the road, that kid is going to be somebody's mother. Who would want a mother naked on the internet? Who would feel proud of a husband who has been puffing weed all his life on the internet? I never want that for my children. But you see, if you don't make the choice for them now and love God, they're in trouble. If you're playing with the God you serve, they're in trouble. And the worst thing is you're going to go and leave them with the burden. And they don't know what was the root, but because you were unfaithful, because you played when you came to church, because church was an option for you, now the devil is after their destiny. And you can never give anybody what you don't have. You have God, you'll give people God. You have pain, they'll grow bitter and angry. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? This body is so precious for you to give it to anybody who says they're in love with you. They love you enough, let them come before God and before your parents, because they've carried the burden of seeing you through life up to now. That's the least they deserve. You cannot tell me because you're in love you're going to disrespect your parents. You cannot tell me that man loves you enough to get you naked when you're 16. You are a child. You even don't know what you want to do in life. And you're giving the keys of your destiny to another fool who doesn't have nothing to lose because they are empty. It is okay, some of us have messed up. Today can be the last day. Tell God, I'm not going back with this pain. Tell God, I'm not. If you say your presence is where things happen, and I'm here in your presence because the presence of God is here, you wouldn't be listening to me if I was just Jali and Asenje. You're listening to Zabuli, the woman God brought from broken pieces and made a beautiful jewel for other people to see that He can do it for you. There's nothing big for Him. I'm talking about a God who spoke this life into existence. I'm talking about a God who manipulated everything in your stomach which you can't even explain. You cannot tell me your mountain is big for Him to move. I will not believe that, because my mountain was ugly. My mountain was rotten. My mountain was lonely. My mountain was bitter. And today, I speak before people because that mountain that looked big for me got so tiny dust. And He swept it and built a beautiful tower. You cannot tell me it is too late. But it could be if you keep choosing to say maybe next time, because the radio did not know He will never see 2019. We are in 2019 and it's normal. I keep using that example because all of us know Him. But the children of radio are going to pay for the fact that their father died a drunkard and an addict. They will live with the fear of probably becoming that because they are their father's children. But you see, when He was doing this, He never thought. Some days we do things out of pain. God is telling me there are people who have failed to forgive because they hurt them. But the problem is you're the shadow to your own destiny. God doesn't want you to forgive them for them. He wants to forgive. He wants you to forgive them so that He can turn that pain into a testimony for somebody else not to reach that point. You see, I'm not speaking because I have very many words. I'm speaking because of that one chance they gave me. Today might be your chance. Today might be the day you want to get out of the circle of pain you've lived in. Today might be the chance you want to give your parents to actually be proud of you, because 9 months is not easy. 9 months is painful. To sacrifice everything and give birth to a child who wakes up one day and disrespects you. You have the chance to get rid of them, but you gave birth to them. You have a chance today to give your mother hope that you are not a mistake. Does somebody hear what I'm saying? This life is not meant for you to have fun. It's meant for you to live every minute glorifying God. You are not meant to be rich. You're already rich by He who loved you. We should stop thinking because Facebook is here, I have to be something. Most people who parade their naked bodies on social media are looking for attention because they are empty inside. So they look for people who are going to validate them. But you and me can't be validated by men. We were validated at the cross and we are worth a blood. Amen. Does somebody understand what I mean? I mean, the man gave his life for you and me. What other love is there? And it doesn't have an option. It is for whoever wants to have it. Loving Christ can change your life. You might never be Zabuli and talk to people, but you might be the first Christian and the last Christian to ever be the example of Jesus. Amen. That even the people who didn't know Him actually had a chance to see Him through you. I was telling the pastor, I didn't know that Lyra even know my name. But you see, somebody called Jude in this church saw me and heard my story. Now I'm here because somebody is a witness to the God I serve. But imagine if she caught me drinking and I'm a Christian. Do you understand what I mean? Maybe nobody is seeing you when you're doing what you're doing, but there is a God who keeps watch. There is a God who never slumbers. That God can forgive you. He can give you a brand new start, but He also can be the worst enemy you can make. Because when you are an enemy to God, hell is the only option you have. When you're a friend of God, baby, your front seat is in heaven. We should stop living for what we see. Yes, some days we need money. But if money becomes your only reason to live and you have it all, what next? I have searched this world. I am the craziest, most curious person. And I've only gotten a chance to stay stuck in one place in the presence of Jesus because every day there is something new I learn. Every time I think He has done it and I can't have it anymore, He humbles me down and tells me, baby, you've not seen what I can do. But you can study and finish all the books. You can get all the money you want and be the stinkiest, most filthy, richest man and still be empty. I'll tell you this, I know of days when I did eat food and I lifted my hands up, it was not beautiful, but those days taught me how to love God with nothing. That now when there is something is not what validates who I am. Money bows at my feet, it does not direct where I go. Friends who don't love me go. Died for me. That's friend enough for me. Oh, I'm being a Christian, but it is not cool talking about Jesus. Keep being ashamed of Him. In the presence of His Father, He will be ashamed of you. We should be the light that shines. Hilltop or valley, they should be able to see the word about you. The way you speak, the way you talk, the way you reason, the way you dress, even the way you smile should predict, because the Spirit of God